Hey gang, Scott Davenport here. My last printing video, I did some preparation for a lab print, and I was doing work with Saal Digital to print a photo book like the one I have here. And I got a few questions about the process after you've made the preparation in Lightroom. You've done your soft proofing. And so that's what this video is about. I'll show you a few tips and tricks for the layout software that Saal Digital offers. And if you're interested in printing a book with them, I've got an offer code for you. It's below the video. There's a link. You can go get a voucher to save a little money on a photo book. And it's I love the book that I've received, and I'll show you some video of that actual book at the end of this session here. In order to get this layout software, go to Saal's website, and on just about every page, you'll find the Saal Design software. There's a link for it, and this one says USA because I'm on the USA site. You know, there's UK and so on and so forth. Find the download, grab it. It'll install on your machine, and it installs as an Adobe Air application. And so it'll automatically update itself and check everything out and make sure you've got the latest and greatest stuff. But there are a few things I want to point out about the layout software. I'm not going to go through every feature because there's just too many of them, but a few things that I found very useful when I was laying out my book. So let's go ahead and get into it. The workflow here is to select the product that you want to build or print, and then do the layout and submit it into Saal Digital once you're all finished with it. But the thing I want to point out is an advantage of using the software as opposed to other methods is this notion of projects. Once you have a project created, you can save it, and you have it on your machine locally. If you wanted to pull up and make another print, like this is the one that I printed most recently, like a larger, bigger brother to this one here, and I'll show you some images from this book in just a minute here. But it's great because I can bring this up, I can make changes, or if I wanted to print a second book, whatever it might be. But workflow wise, I'm going to go with the photo book here, and a nice little perk is if there's any special offers, you can click on those to get some discounts. I want to go in the photo professional line, and I'll just choose a basic book. You can configure the book, and all these things you can change later. So right now I'm just going to keep on trucking through here. Next choice you have to make is what type of template you want to use. I like the auto layout. It makes it very easy to dynamically shift photos around, and it's still configurable so you can change things. And I'll just start with the basic, simple, empty project, and we'll do 24 pages. So this is the fundamental interface here. On the left-hand side, we can choose where we have all of our different folders for photos and so forth. So if I open up this one, I've got my photos for my book. And then on the right-hand side, you have different templates or layouts for each type of page. So as I click on different pages, there's no images yet. I have no layouts. When I get an image in here, let's grab this image here, click and drag. And it starts with doing the auto layout. If I add a second image, let's click this one here and drag it in. The layout will automatically change, and notice on the right-hand side, you have different layouts as well. I could choose to lay things out this way or that way, and so forth. If you wanted to rearrange images, you can select one and then drag it and switch places with the other image. So the layout, the software, it's very basic and very easy to use. It's intuitive, really, I guess is the way to say it. Basic's not the right word, intuitive. A few things I do want to point out about the layout itself. Notice around the border there is this red line. That's the bleed line. And what that means is if I were to start to change this image where I would bump up against the bleed line but not go over, the software is going to give me a warning on that. And this actually gives me an opportunity to show you how I can change the auto layout. I'm using auto layout right now, but if I want to make changes within auto layout, I can move my photos around and reposition them. I can do that all within the box here without having to change where the frame itself is. But if I wanted to change that, I can deactivate the auto layout. And then I've got things where I can scale the image. Now, if I do this in a way where I'm bumping up against the bleed line, I'll get a warning. And that's another nice thing about the layout software. It's going to give you these warnings, and these warnings also get thrown up at you if you try to move on with the project. Software's going to make sure, all right, this is really how you want to do it. The reason for the bleed line in particular is because of the way the printing process works. If you bump up right against that, you may end up with like a sliver of white, paper, where if you want to have that photo really go all the way to the edge, you want to go past that bleed line. And notice now the warning is gone. So there's some very things that are just nice about the layout software that is helping you get the best book possible. Where I particularly found it useful to turn off auto layout was for the cover. And here's the reason for that. Let's pick a photo and add it to the cover. I have a few layouts to change the way that this main photo sits on the cover. And let's say I want to have the photo occupy the entire space. I'll move this over a little bit so get some nice action there. And if I wanted to add something else, add a second photo, I can't really do that well, or the layout becomes more of a problem. I really wanted to add, say I add my logo onto this. Well, that's where I can deactivate the auto layout. And let's go find one of my logos here. Okay, we'll grab that. And I want to show you what happens here. I try to drag this in. We're bumping into a problem of the software wants to replace the image. And I don't want to do that. There's one other feature. Right click, insert image. And then you have one image on top of another. So this is a nice way to address challenges with auto layout. Auto layout's great for most of the pages. And when there's things you want to lay on top of one another, add in an extra image, add in some additional text, whatever it might be, you can turn off auto layout. And that is per page. For this page here, I turned off auto layout. This page here, notice I have not, right? Previous page, the layout is off. This page, it's on. So you can only have to turn off the auto layout for the pages that you're interested in. Now let me load up the final project that I've done so you can get an idea of how the different layouts look and what the final process is for doing the book. So here are the pages of the final book that I printed. I chose to keep some text on the front, but did add my logo there. And skimming through the book. So all the way through page 1, did some full bleed layouts, did some crop, did some 2-page layouts, a variety of different things here. I want to point out 2 other options, actually really mainly one. I kind of covered it on the first page. I'll go back to that. On the last page, I don't recommend putting a photo on the last page of the book. The reason for that is when it gets printed on the back cover, you have where the paper for the print gets matted down on the leather. It's folded around to wrap around the edges, and that creates this, artificial bump area. So I'm not a fan of printing something on the back page because of that. But tossing in a bit of text, your logo, contact information, whatever it might be for the book that you're working on, that's a good idea. But notice on the front page, the very first page, so this is the inside cover, because of the hard acrylic front, if you're doing the acrylic front, it's nice and smooth. And so there's not a problem with that. If you're doing just leather on either side, then same thing. Don't put a photo on page 1 unless you're okay with dealing with that bit of ripple that happens. Now, once I finish this book, I'm doing add to shopping. You're going to go through a process that will confirm everything. You get a chance to review everything. And when I finished my printed book, it came out beautiful. I chose to get one of the leather boxes, a gift box that it comes in, which is really, the presentation of it is beautiful. The photos look great. The fact that they lay out flat, you can see really nice big print. And I only did a 12 by 12 book. Now I'm curious to do a 16 by 12 as well. But all the photos look wonderful. The layout was very simple to do, very elegant, nice amount of breathing room for the multi-photo pages. And I couldn't be happier with the results. I really like how everything turned out. So that's the layout. That's the layout software with Saal Digital. I hope you found this useful. Again, there is a link below the video that can save you a little money if you're looking to make one of these books. If you got questions about it, feel free to hit me up in the comments. And until next time, my name's Scott Davenport, and happy shooting.